the reading, and we'll be reading Chapter 7 and 8 today, if we can. So let's get started. Cause and effect. By your great enemy, I mean yourself. If you have the power to face your own soul, in the darkness and silence, you will have conquered the physical or animal self that dwells in sensation only. Light on the path. The above sentence embodies, in a nutshell, the very cream of the yoga philosophy. It is the quintessence of occultism. The lips of wisdom are closed except to the ears of understanding. You who read this will profit thereby only if you are bent upon spiritualizing yourself. The one thing that I want of you is an earnestness, not the earnestness of a small pot soon hot style, but one deep, abiding, and constant impulsion that shall compel your being right through life. There is a widespread impression amongst those of the West that the yogi is fit only for the lunatic asylum. But before you clap into bedlam, please read, mark, and inwardly digest this lesson and judge it on its merits alone. Never utter those words, I do not know this thing, therefore it is not true. One must study to know to understand, and understand to judge. The man whose thoughts are matter bound is treading upon beds of quicksand. He is sitting upon a mine that may explode any moment. The only safe course in the life of the spirit. Those who lead this life seem to live and breathe in quite a different sphere. They are the true yogis, the first fruits of humanity. In matters of self-discipline, they neither spare themselves nor others. That would learn at their feet. To those moles that are still burrowing into the mud, their methods, ever drastic, appear far-fetched. But this is emphatically not so. The yogi is thoroughly rational. He has a profound intellect. He is the picture of health. He is full of kindness and piety. He is ever self-sacrificing, ever strong, and as to chastity, he is the very embodiment of it. He simply radiates purity. Wherever the yogi goes, he seems to cleanse the very atmosphere of the place by his mere presence. He is calm, serene, and even-minded. He has almost superhuman self-control. In the moment of action, he is the man of cool nerves, of level head, and great penetrating concentration. What mental scientist in America puts health upon the heights? Why? Simply because there are 50 millions there who are disease-ridden and many suffering. One is mortuarius, i.e., at the point of death. This is the result of materialism. The gods have put their ban upon it. Seek ye the kingdom of heaven, and all else shall be added unto thee. This is the tremendous advice of the Supreme Master. The higher life is the only life that is worth living. All else is mere touch and go. Now, One great secret of success was enunciated by a perfect yogi. It is the greatest I know. I am fully convinced of its potent force. Let me give it to you. Join the means to the end, and you have the sum total, the objective, the goal that you are striving for and aiming at. The result is in direct ratio to the intensity of the effort. The greater the effort, the greater the result. There is an ever continuing, never slackening tension of the spiritual law of cause and effect, of sowing and reaping. We only get what we deserve, not an iota more or less. The gods hold the scales evenly, and nature deals in even handed justice. No honest seeking ever goes unrewarded. We have to perfect the means. We have to adjust efforts to obstacles. If the action is incoordinate, so shall be the result. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Everything is in a circle. What we do, that we have. In taking all possible care of the means, you are simply starting currents of force into activity. These must complete the circuit and come back to you, the center in time. Therefore, what we have to do is to work, work, and work. The results cannot but come. Your body is so constituted that it renews itself after each exertion. With each fresh effort, there is a corresponding inrush of force. He who works his hardest has the most energy. Energy is ever withdrawn from those that would spend same with a niggardly hand. The supply is exactly in proportion to the exhaust. It is the pressure at which we live that counts most. Life is unnecessarily long. Only so much time we spend in vegetating rather than living. For only the spiritual man can appreciate the fine art of living. As a great thinker said, we ask for long life, but 'tis deep life, or grand moments that signify. Life culminates and concentrates. Homer said, the gods ever give to mortals their appointed share of reason only on one day, just to fill the hour that is happiness. Fill my hour, ye gods, so that I shall not say, whilst I have done this, behold, also an hour of my life is gone, but rather I have lived an hour. In stripping time of its illusions, in seeking to find what is the heart of the day, we come to the quality of the moment and drop the duration altogether. It is the depth at which we live, and not at all the surface extension that imports. We pierce to the eternity of which time is the fitting surface, and really the least acceleration of thought, and the least increase of power of thought. Make life to seem and to be of vast duration. We call it time, but when that acceleration and that deepening effect take place, It acquires another higher name, eternity. God works in moments, the measure of life. O Socrates is with the wise, the speaking and hearing such discourses as yours. There is no real happiness in this life, but in intellect and virtue. It is the deep today that all men scorn, the rich poverty which men hate, the populace all loving solitude, which men quit for the tattle of towns. He lurks, he hides, he who is success, reality, joy, and power. One of the illusions is that the present hour is not the critical hour, the decisive moment. Write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year. No man has learned anything rightly until he knows that every day is doomsday. 'Tis the oldest secret of the gods that they come in low disguises. Nature shows herself best in the least. The above are just a few thoughts to convince you that each stroke, each swing of the will, each moment of utter devotion to the means, each hour of day, uncongenial labor, each spell of painful, patient concentration shall count in the eternal summation. Hence, pay homage to and worship the means. Honor the present moment. Set up the strong present tense against all else. The present moment is the crystallization of the past. Build into the structure of the past the richest and finest materials. Vitalize it with the rich red life blood of youth, and surely, most surely, the spirit shall shine out in all its columnar majesty. Your past is laden with the cumulative force of thoughts, desires, and actions. Everything turns upon how you have lived in the past. How cramped, how downtrodden, how sorrow-laden, how miserable, how low, mean, and hard-hearted, and cruel we men and women are. It all seems to have been ground in with our life force. Stop, right now, and examine yourself in the clear light of intellect. 10-1, you shudder at your hideous weaknesses that darken and defile your nature. What I would that I do not, what I would not that I do. When I would do good, evil is present with me. This is the tale of the age. It is a staggering blow to one's optimism. It dampens one's spirits. It plunges one into the bottomless pit of despair. Standing by men steeped to their lips in weaknesses, one turns inwards and doubtingly says, I am really strong. I failed. Why? Because, sir, you neglected the means, and you simply killed your time in spinning airy webs. You did not throw in your heart and soul. Here is the cause and cure of failure. In our struggles to cheat nature, we simply cheat ourselves. In trying to drown the voice of conscience, we simply sink ourselves. In trying to follow the eat, drink, and be merry policy, we simply retard our inner unfoldment. Please remember, therefore, all yogis are tremendous causationalists. There is method in their madness. They believe in methodical and persistent work. They say with me, in effect, marshal your forces properly and powerfully, and success is sure. It is not meet that we turn to something permanent, something that we live through the ages, something that will be a powerful lever to uplift, inspire, and ennoble others. It is, it is. That's what you say. To be able to appreciate greatness at its full value, we must ourselves have the germs of greatness stirring within us. The power of the Spirit is struggling to uncoil itself. Your being vibrates to the thrills of spiritual forces. Your complex, though, confused ideas regarding your mission, your divine heritage, your birthright are shooting into order. The pressure of your chains is telling upon your nerves, your sufferings, your little independent twists and angles and blind gropings are the promises of your future. Intensify yourself then along these channels. Carry these thoughts constantly with you. Make them the part, nay, the whole of your lives. They shall fit in everywhere, ever they ring true. I hear this complaint from many men. I am deeply impressed when I read these things, or when you talk of them to us. I am full of noble resolves. I feel quite different from humdrum humanity. But alas, the impression wears off as soon as the world demands my attention. That shows positively that the latter compels your nature. The superficial glamour of worldism claims for you for its own Mephistopheles claimed Faust. That's a author. Your carnal and sexational tendencies occupy the principal seats in your nature. You talk of the higher life. Your talk of the higher life is vapory in the extreme. You are like Clarence Clinton in Little Zane. Unsustained aspiration would follow instinct, but is deterred by conventionalism, is outored by idealism, yet attracted and transiently inspired, but has not steadiness for the initiatory contemplation of the actual. He conjoins its snatched privileges with a besetting sensualism and suffers at once from the horror of the one and the disgust involving the innocent others in the fatal conflict of his spirit, mirror of young manhood. Okay, Chapter 8. Man the Master. Men are going up an ascending scale of existence. Some have their feet still planted upon the lowest rungs of the ladder. Others have climbed higher and higher. At the start of the functions of life are all performed upon a semi-conscious plane. The law of life is for progress, struggle, achievement, and realization. Excuse me. The force of this life swings the physical and mental mechanisms of man to its own beneficent purpose and propels them to action. Progress at this stage is on the subconscious plane of mentation. The soul is in a comatose condition. Impacts from the physical world, the driving power of the law of progress, evolution, and the inherent powers of the soul all combine to push us on. Oh, Sorry about that. Man's central being is infinite bliss. I'm happiness itself. I'm unhappy because my eyes have grown blind. Yes, man has forgotten his real divine nature. Cycle after cycle of activity that goes on, man is being worked upon by a divine law whose stern mandate is awake, arise, and stop not till the goal is reached. Not all of us hear it thus. The pious Christian devoutly believes, oh, there is an evil force, Satan, whose arm strikes me down. Good Lord, thou alone art my refuge. In praying thus, he believes in the infinite power of the Absolute, and since nothing is lost in the economy of nature, he delivers a concentrated suggestion to his soul, which alone is infinite. He believes that his prayer will bear fruit, and it does. In believing, he delivers the right blow, and his belief is fulfilled. It is a very good thing to pray, to believe that Providence is always playing with your destiny, to believe that a mighty Mephistopheles is laying traps for you, to believe that the body is dying, the soul does not die, to believe that God alone can save you. The good side of it lies in your repulsion of evil. Fear and at times love of the infinite makes you onto cleave to good. Excuse me. But do not stop there. Your attitude is out and out a negative one. You cannot always stand by your none too well grounded convictions. Facts go to prove this. In this world, you often see a man born in poverty, squalor, and sin. He has not a single chance in life. Then take a man born in the purple. There is nothing to vex him. Plenty stalks majestically in the land. He has but to wish, and lo, it is fulfilled. Everything that God commands is for the best, you say. Perhaps his father is to blame, someone would say. First, why should I be punished for the sins of my father? Secondly, why should I not be created as my friend is? Why should everyone laugh at my physical, mental, and spiritual endowments? How do I deserve this? God's ways are inexplicable, you say. Very fine indeed. Friend, God does not love mystery mongering. He can never give us pain without rhyme or reason. My experience tells a different tale. God is love. He acts in open daylight. We go to church and say long prayers for sins committed. We shall commit that same sin again and again, and we shall cease only when repeated blows rub the lesson home. You must cease from this. It has the back of it the most painful results. Man is punished, not for his sins so much as by them. Nature, with her pitiless ways, cannot claim mercy for herself. Her laws are hard. Be it sin of commission or omission, your escape is impossible. This penalty bears a mission peculiar to itself. It is a blessing in disguise. It is the merciful knife of the surgeon. If there is loss, pain, suffering, disappointment at one pole, it is all counterpoised by the ripening of experience, wisdom, knowledge at the other. Hence, measured on the scale of compensation, all pain comes, it how it may, must be faced with patience. Pain comes in jangled vibrations, seems to asphyxiate the whole man, strikes us down for needed lesson. In suffering we pay our debts. The burden is lightened. Sin and suffering are twins, and separation is impossible. How we wish we had been let off scot-free. How like miserable shirkers we wish our bed had no crumpled rose leaves. Yet would you who weep and lament be minus the experience and wisdom you have stored up through efforts to brush pain aside? No, right have we then to rule off pain as a visitation of a wrathful deity. Rather, we shall see cause and effect, not somewhere and sometimes, but everywhere and always. That is the position of strength. Every sweet has its sour. We shall confront fate with fate, fire with fire, standing aside, see the one eat the other. The end of all philosophy is the destruction of pain, not milksops and lunatics, but men of iron courage are philosophers. Philosophy is thoughtful, is thought past and purified through the fire of the living spirit. It is deathless, birthless, truth established in the constitution of man. Clay and clay differ, they say, so thought and thought vary in power, tenacity and texture. Man is a living magnet. He attracts, he repels, he draws in his own, he throws out what is not related to him. As Emerson, the Western child of Eastern thought, sings, and all that nature made thy own, floating in air or pent in stone, will rive the hills and swim the sea, and like thy shadow follow thee. Just that comes to us, which is ours by right of thought, just that flies off from us, which is not ours. What shall we find? What we flee from will flee from us, as Goethe said. What we wish for in youth comes to us in heaps in old age. Everything on the zone of our mental vibration will be ours. Remember who you read. Thought is a mighty force. It is your friend. It is your enemy. As your ideal in life, along that line will everything flow. You are a spark from the eternal fire, and it is proved in higher mathematics the parts of infinity are an infinity. You too are infinite. God re-exists in each mortal form. His light shines full upon your consciousness. You wish, you command, you demand, you assent, you get what you want. Though you go to sleep, your thought is, if sufficiently vitalized by concentration, will come to pass. Determine the breath, the solidity, the soundness of the plank of life you stand upon. You are your master. Knowing and realizing this, you shall step up to the highest and best in life, and with firm hands pluck the fruit you would taste. The sweet, the bitter, or the bittersweet taste is according as you choose. Where and what is fear then? It is all cause and effect. Laugh at astrology, at palmistry. Know their secrets, know their emanations from you, and stand fearless and strike straight from the shoulders. Once, twice, thrice, times innumerable, till your strokes till your strokes lay low the monsters that have broken their teeth upon your unyielding shoulders, till you have what you should have. This, friend, is a passing glimpse of life's conscious stage. Here life is self-determined. Here no hand but yours builds, no brains but yours thinks. No strength but yours avails, no soul but yours bids, bargains, and at last bears away the palm. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, take care. Namaste.